Members of the National Union of Metalworkers of South Africa at Eskoms Megawatt Park in Johannesburg will be staging a demonstration against the unbundling of Eskom and the privatization of SOEs. The picket will be taking place between 12 and 1 p.m. today. For more on this, we have Numsa National spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi-Majola on the line. A very good morning to you, Phakamile.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers.
Quite a start to 2020, hasn't it been? Numsa says the purpose of the picket is to raise their concerns on the unbundling of Eskom and the privatization of state-owned entities. Do you not believe the president when he says there are no intentions to privatize Eskom?
You know, this is in line with the resolution that Numsa made last year at its Central Committee meeting, that in the first quarter of the year, we would begin a program of mass action to defend our SOEs and to defend Eskom in particular against privatization. In relation to what the president has said about where he claims that Eskom is not being privatized, with due respect, he's not being truthful. As we speak, Eskom is being privatized. The very fact that we now have renewable energy, independent power producers which have been connected to the grid, these IPPs are privately owned, is an example of the privatization of Eskom, which has already begun. We know already of a few power stations in Mpumalanga that have been shut down in order to accommodate these IPPs. And part of this demonstration is to, in fact, highlight the fact that we believe that the unbundling of Eskom is bad for Eskom. It will not solve Eskom's problems. It will result in the price of energy increasing exponentially. This will make it very expensive to do business, and it will have a negative impact on the economy. And it'll mean that members of the working class and the poor are even more unable to access electricity because it's too costly, and it will lead to job losses. So effectively, this is why we're staging this protest. It's a joint protest between ourselves as Numsa together with the NUM.
We heard a few months ago last year the appointment of a restructuring officer, Mr. Freeman, is it Nomzamo, I think? Do we know what he has been doing this entire time? There hasn't been much said about progress in terms of his mandate.
Well, on the details of the restructuring, one of the complaints that we've had as Numsa is that as Labour, we are largely in the dark in terms of what the plans are. There have been a few meetings with EXCO at Eskom, but in our view, there has not been sufficient information given about what exactly and how this process will be unrolled. What our members have complained about is that they've seen, decisions been taken, for example, around redeployment of workers, cancellation of contracts, as evidence that obviously something is happening, decisions are being implemented, but in terms of the finer details of the strategy, Numsa has always been on record to say that we've always felt that the consultation process around this has been extremely poor.
So essentially you're saying you are not interacting with Mr. Nomvalo at all?
We're not saying that, but what we're saying is that the details of the full extent of this unbundling have not been revealed to us, and this is why part of the reason why we are aggrieved. What we think is that this board, and in particular the executive management, are determined to privatize this entity. They know full well that Labour is opposed to this, because and we've always said that their solutions have never had anything to do with actually fixing Eskom. Eskom's problems are not the fact that have nothing to do with the labour bill or the wage bill. Eskom's problems have everything to do with the fact that it's got lower sales volumes, and the fact that it's paying a lot of money for coal and for renewable energy independent power producers. Those are the things that are actually wreaking havoc with its balance sheet. So when you say you want to unbundle Eskom, you're not resolving those problems by unbundling Eskom.
So let's talk about what this picket will achieve this afternoon.
Well, the picket is part of the rolling mass action which Numsa has committed to embarking on in the course of this year. It is the first of a series of pickets, demonstrations, protests, and even strike action, which we are planning for the course of the year, in order to ensure that we do everything in our power to stop the unbundling and the privatization of Eskom.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us there, Phakamile Hlubi, talking to us about a picket that Numsa will hold at the Eskom headquarters this afternoon.